Okay, welcome again, everybody. Welcome to the accounting information session. My name is Jen Knudsen. I am the program representative for the UC Davis Accounting Certificate programs. I am joined here today by Kathy Zhao, who is our enrollment coach. I'm also joined today by Jim Veneman, who's one of our instructors. And I also have Bridget, my colleague working tech. So please feel free to, if you have any questions along the way, you can put them in the Q&A box. If you're having any challenges with tech or Zoom, you can use the chat box. And just a reminder, we'll be recording this and we'll be sharing this information session with you after about like a day or so. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so what's on our agenda today? For attending today, I will follow up with an email with a $100 discount for attending. You'll get $100 off a single course. I'm going to talk a little bit about our accounting program information. Again, you're going to hear from a program instructor, Jim Veneman. I'm going to talk a little bit about financing your education, and we also have time for some questions and answers. And again, as I mentioned, for attending today live, you will receive a $100 discount off a course. Okay, so I'd like to tell you a little bit about your program team. So Kathy is our enrollment coach, and Kathy and Student Services, they're there to help you enroll if you have any questions about the program. Kathy at the end will share her Calendly link. She's great. You can contact her anytime. Kathy, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for attending this super session. So I'll be able to talk with you if you are more interested in this program, and I can help you to walk you through the whole enrollment process and then know you more and see if it is a good program to fit you.
Great, thank you so much, Kathy. And Kathy is going to be staying with us to help answer some questions and answers and just to give you her contact information at the end. As I mentioned, my name is Jen. I'm the program representative. Heather Ogle is our program manager. So we're going to be your contacts, your program staff. Once you're enrolled in the program, we'll be there with you. Any questions along the way, if you need help with a course plan, that's what we're here for. Okay, so to get us started off, I'd like to do a poll. Just basically, why are you here today? Why are you interested in our accounting programs? Bridget will be sharing that with you. So, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I just went ahead of myself. First, let's do a poll about how did you first hear about us? My apologies. Word of mouth, internet search, paper brochure, or mailing. I guess I'll just give you a couple seconds to answer that. Okay, so I think we're good, Bridget. All right, so no surprise, most of you have heard of us on the internet, and we have a couple people word of mouth, personal recommendation, that's great to hear, and other. Okay, thank you so much, Bridget. And Bridget's saying my screen sharing is paused, so I'm gonna ask for a little bit of patience here. I apologize, sometimes this happens when we run polls. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Okay. So thank you so much. Just modern technology, working remotely. I'm sure everybody could relate. Sometimes get little glitches here and there. So here's some program information. All our courses are online and they're worth 4 quarter credit units. You can take the courses as part of a certificate or individually. And we offer 2 certificate options, accounting principles and accounting specialists. Okay, and as I mentioned, we have 2 certificates. The first is our principles certificate. So basically for the principal certificate, you're going to always start with our foundational class, which is Principles of Financial Accounting. This is the prereq for all our other courses. You are allowed to take it concurrently with another course. Then you have Intermediate Accounting Part 1, which must be taken before Part 2. Again, Immediate Accounting Part 2, and then Principles of Cost Accounting. Our specialist certificate, we have auditing and individual income taxation, accounting for government and nonprofit organizations, financial statement analysis, and ethics in accounting. And Jim, who will be talking in a little bit, he teaches our auditing and our accounting for government and nonprofit organizations.
Jan, I don't want to interrupt you,
Oh,
but
sure, please. Yes.
your screen hasn't moved from the poll.
Oh my goodness.
Slides.
That's not good.
I
Thank
was
you.
gonna say that.
No, you need to let me next. I apologize, everybody. Okay, so it was moving on my end. So that's not going to help everybody
How about
else.
that?
Oh my goodness. You know what, Bridget? I think what we'll do, I'll fix it, but I think going forward, we'll just skip the polls if that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
Let me try again. And thank you, everybody, for your patience. All right, let's see. Okay, now are you seeing it?
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Oh,
Ooh.
excellent,
Perfect.
excellent. Okay, so no polls today, everybody. You're all right, so again, I'll go back and again, you'll get a recording of this. I will probably edit it, so this part will be out, and it'll be more cohesive, but let me go back to the spaces, those slides that we missed. So I was saying that all courses are online and worth 4 quarter credit units. Could take courses as part of a certificate or individually. We offer 2 certificate options. So again, we have the principal certificate, which has the principles of financial accounting, intermediate accounting part 1, intermediate accounting part 2, principles of cost accounting. We have our specialist certificate, which is auditing, individual income taxation, accounting for government and nonprofit organizations, financial statement analysis, and ethics in accounting. Okay, so we have 2 different options for doing the certificate program. The first is at your own pace. So this way you have 5 years to complete all the coursework. You're going to pay as you go. You're going to pay your certificate registration fee of $125, and you are eligible for individual discounts. So for example, the discount that you'll get today for attending, you could use it for one of these courses. The other option is our fast track. In our fast track, you're committing to a set course plan and you're going to pay upfront. But by paying upfront, you're going to receive a 15% discount off the tuition. We're going to waive the certificate registration fee, and then you're going to get priority enrollment in classes. And towards the end, I'll talk to you a little bit more about costs because I know that's usually a big question as well. Okay, so our spring courses are now open for enrollment. Our spring courses are going to run this quarter, April 5th to June 27th. And the courses that we'll be offering are the Principles of the Financial Accounting, which is the prerequisite for all other courses. Intermediate Accounting Part 2. So for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, you wouldn't be able to take Part 2 without taking Part 1 first. Financial Statement Analysis and Auditing. So the Principles of Financial Accounting and the Intermediate Accounting, they're part of our Accounting Principles Certificate. And we also have an entry every quarter for the fast track, whether you're interested in the accounting principles or the accounting specialist fast track. We do have, like I said, an entry at every quarter. The only caveat is that we do ask you to have principles of financial accounting as your prereq. So even if you want to take one of Jim's courses, which would be auditing, you would still need to have taken principles of financial accounting. If you have taken that course at another institution, just let me know. I can go over your transcripts and we can see if we can get that prerequisite waived. All right, so we're skipping the poll. Here we go. Let's introduce our instructors. So all of our instructors are CPAs. They're
Good looking group.
It is a good looking group, and luckily we have one of them here with us. So as I was saying, everybody is a CPA. They're all working in the field currently. And we are so lucky today to have Jim with us today. And I have asked him to talk today because Jim has a really interesting background, which some of you I'm sure can relate. It was that he was a career changer early in his career. And so I asked Jim to talk a little bit about that, just a little bit about his experience as an accountant. And now I hear he has another accountant in his family. So Jim, I'm going to hand the microphone to you and we'd love to hear from you. Welcome.
Okay, well, Jen, thank you for inviting me to participate here today. I'm always excited to be part of this and talk to prospective students that are interested in accounting. I've been in accounting for 41 years now, 14 of that in banking. And while I was in banking, I switched between auditing and accounting. And I've been working last 27 years with the state of California, and I'm currently an audit manager. I have 5 people reporting to me, and we do audits of cities, counties, school districts, and we have some special projects that we do. So I have found that auditing has been a very rewarding career for me. That I always talk about, when I was a young man and in my 20s and thinking about what I was going to do with my life. If somebody had told me that someday I'd be a CPA in accounting, I'd have told them they were nuts. I guess there's no way in the world I'd ever do that. My dad was a CPA, and I just didn't see it. I didn't see the fascination with the type of work. My early interest was in broadcasting, and my first degree that I got was in communication arts, and so I wanted to be in radio and television. So I spent some time in that field and working in radio mostly, and I was back in it was a long time ago, and things have certainly changed in that field. And things were going kind of okay for me in that field, but I got to a point where I was thinking about making a life change, getting married and having children, and it didn't seem to me that the communications field was the place to be if I wanted job security. And so this was for me. You can tell I'm not a young person. So this is back in the day before the internet. All we had was newspapers. So one Sunday I thought, maybe I should be thinking about some other field other than radio, because I was trying to get a job with a radio station. I was living in San Diego at the time. And so I picked up a copy of the Sunday LA Times and looked at the job wanted ads, and I couldn't help but notice that the first 6 pages was all accounting jobs. Wow, that's interesting. Maybe I should think about this. I didn't do very well in high school in math, but then my instructors were horrible. So I thought, well, I don't know. I enrolled at a junior college in San Diego, and I enrolled into some algebra and some of the statistics and some of the other courses. I discovered I really enjoyed math, because I was a little older. And I don't know, but it turned out I finished up there and went on to get my master's degree in accounting and started working in banking when I graduated. I started in Cincinnati, Ohio, is where I'm originally from. I moved to Kansas City and I worked in a bank there and traveled all over the Midwest and auditing job. And I moved out here to California in 1984 and spent some time working in a savings and loan. I live in Auburn and I worked at a savings loan here. Banking used to be a real stable profession, and they got to a point there where it wasn't so stable. So I was looking around for a change, and I applied for the state, and I've been with the state now for 27 years. Hard to believe that many years has gone by. One of the things I always ask my students, when they take my classes, have you really thought about, what area you want to go into when in accounting? Because you can be an accountant or you can be an auditor, and they're really very different fields. Basically, if you're an accountant, you're probably sitting in an office most of the time, if not all the time, working with financial information. You might be working with accounts payable, receivables, or preparing statements, or any number of different things. And whereas in auditing, you're verifying other people's accounting work and either creating financial statements or you're verifying financial statements, or you're doing other kind of auditing work to verify information. And usually that means you're traveling and you're in somebody else's place of business on an ongoing basis, coming back to the office to write up all the things that you found. It's a different field. For me, I really enjoy auditing because I like the variety and I like the challenge. It's like figuring out a puzzle. You go to somebody else's shop and I could place I'm going today could have the same exact accounting system as the place I was last week, but they set it up differently. They use it differently. Their ideas of how they do things is a little different than the last place I was. So I had to figure out how they do things and get in there and get the information I need to do the work I need to do. And I did spend 6 years as an accountant in banking, and I found out that wasn't for me because I felt like I had a ball and chain attached to my leg because I like to be out. So my daughter, Jen mentioned my daughter. She recently completed her master's degree, and she got a degree in accounting. And she graduated from high school about 15 years ago, and she wasn't sure, what it is that she wanted to do. So she said, "Mom, Dad, is it okay if I, this work?" She worked at Starbucks uh, a number of years. Actually, she still works at Starbucks part time. Yeah, sure, go ahead. You figure out. There's no sense going into school and trying to go for something if you have no passion for it, because you're not gonna be successful. So she eventually decided to be in accounting, but that's after she did some analysis. She said, I know I want to be in the business field. And so I looked at the different fields of business at school: management, finance, accounting, marketing. Um, and she says, I came to the conclusion that if I have a degree in accounting, I can do all those other things too, and I have this ability to do accounting work. So why not just go for accounting? And that way I'm more sellable. I'm more, I have a better resume to get a job. So that's what she did. And she completed it. So now that she spent 6 years at school, some of it part-time, some of it full-time. She's working for the state now, moving on with her career. And now she wants to be a CPA. So we've been talking here lately about what that entails. And I thought I'd just mention a few things about, because that comes up in our accounting course about, if you want to be a CPA, what does that
That would,
mean?
yeah, that would be great, Jim, if you could speak for that. Because I know also that you also have an MBA. So I know some of our students are career changers. Some of them are a little bit further along. So if you would share your experiences, about the CPA, becoming a CPA. And like I said, I know you also mentioned that you have an MBA, which I think is also an interesting thing about you, if you wanted to share about that.
Yeah, I decided that I wanted to go get accounting. Um, I went back. I went to the University of Cincinnati. I decided to go back there and go back to school. And my bachelor's degree was in communication arts. So when I enrolled in the MBA program there, not only did I have to complete all of the courses for MBA, but because I did not have a bachelor's degree in accounting, I had to do all the undergraduate accounting courses too. So 4 years working through their program, which was really good and gave me a really good foundation for moving on. Requirements for being a CPA has certainly changed over the years, mostly in that they require a lot more education now than they used to. There was two different requirements. There's one set of requirements to take the test, and there's another set of requirements to get licensed. If you want to take the CPA exam, what you need to have is a bachelor's degree or higher, and along in that degree, somewhere along in there, you have 24 units of accounting and business related subjects, and you can take the test. There's 4 exams. They're pretty hard, but I will say that anyone who is smart enough to go through a college program and get a degree is certainly smart enough to pass a CPA exam. What makes the CPA exam so difficult, and why the pass rate has never gone over 50% ever, is that the amount of material that you have to remember when you go in to take the test. It's just a lot of stuff. I used to tell my wife, I feel like my head's the size of a basketball and I'm going in to take the test because I got so much crammed in there. I've gone through my study material to take this test. That's what makes it tough. And they do cover a wide range of subject matter. So anyway, so you can take the exam basically with a bachelor's degree, but in order to get licensed, they require 150 semester hours in various areas. So 150 semester hours, they don't say you have to have an MBA, but my advice to students has always been, if you're going to have to take that many semester hours of course material, why not have an MBA? Because that way you put those extra 3 letters behind your name. So if it turns out that you don't pass the exam for some reason, you still got those 3 letters and believe me, that means something when you're out there applying for a job, and you can say that you've made that accomplishment in your schooling. And CPA, by the way, is not the only certification program. It's certified internal auditor. There's a lot of different certification programs nowadays. They're tailored to different aspects of accounting and finance work. So there's those things to pursue too. But in order to get to all these things, you still have to go through an education program like ours. And I think our program is tailored to not only for people that are thinking of accounting as an initial career, but those that want to change careers. I've had a lot of students that have decided they want to go into something else because, I don't know, the field they're in is thinking it's a dead end, or it's not something it's not what they expected. It's not, what they thought it would be, or maybe they're, I don't know. There's all kinds of different reasons. I've talked to all different students that have different reasons for why they want to do a career change. But it worked for me, and I've always said that I've been blessed because when somebody would ask me 27 years ago, before I started working with the state, if I could sit down and write down, a list of all the things that I hoped that I'd have in a job. I ended up finding that in the work I do. Very fulfilling. I love auditing work. I love working with people, and that's another thing about being in an accounting profession. It's not just working with numbers all the time. There's also writing involved. There's also working with people. Working with people is another big aspect of being in this field. So,
No, that's
a wonderful career.
Thank you, Jim. I really appreciate your perspective. Like I said, because we have a variety of students. I know not everyone's goal is to become a CPA, but I know for a lot of our students that is. So if you wouldn't mind sticking around to the end, I'm sure we may have some more questions. I have a couple more questions I might want to ask you as well. But again, thank you so much for joining us and for your perspective. And like I said, Jim will be staying to the end as well. Thank you, Jim. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the two different certificates. So I want to mention about the price, but I also want to talk a little bit about what the certificates are. So we have the Accounting Principles Certificate. So these are our core courses. Like these are the courses. I had a program manager who used to say, like, think about it almost like an undergraduate minor in accounting. They're very similar courses to what you would see for that. So these are your core foundational courses for accounting. And as I mentioned, the two different options you can do for the certificate is working at your own pace. So this is where you're going to take individual courses separately. The courses are $880 per course. You're going to pay a one-time non-refundable registration fee of $125. And then also the other option is your fast track option. So as you can see, if you pay upfront, you're going to save $528. And we also waive the $125 registration fee. And this is where Kathy is going to help you with the enrollment piece. If you have questions about this, what's the best fit for you, please reach out to her and she can help you with that. And then moving on to our accounting specialist certificate, this focuses more on like specific areas of accounting. It's recommended for people who have already taken some basic accounting courses or who have experience in the field and are simply looking for advanced coursework. So now taking both of our certificates will meet the accounting education requirements to sit for the CPA exam. So they can be taken concurrently. I've had students do that who will do the accounting principles certificate and the accounting specialist certificate at the same time. All our courses are designed for working adults. Our recommendation is that you take one course per quarter because you're going to, depending on your comfort level, your experience, you should be expecting to put a good 10 to 15 hours of work each week into the course. But if your schedule allows, you feel comfortable, you are allowed to take two courses a quarter. And as I mentioned before, students are not required to take the principal certificate prior to pursuing the specialist certificate. However, the Principles of Financial Accounting course is a prereq for all the courses in both programs. And as Jim mentioned, the advanced courses, you are going to want to have some level of understanding to do those more advanced courses, or else you're not going to be as successful. You won't get as much out of it. So if you have any questions about your experience, your formal coursework, you can always share an official copy of your transcripts with Kathy, and we can look at that and let you look at your other coursework to see if that would help. And also I should mention, for the at your own pace option, you do or we do allow one course substitution per certificate. That's only at the at your own pace certificate. For the fast track, you're committing to all those courses. So if you do feel like you have a equivalent course of one of the ones that we're offering in the certificate, please reach out to us and let us know. We can look at your transcripts and see if there's anything that we can do with the one course substitution. Okay, so I did also want to just mention about financing your education. So Kathy's going to be sending out a follow-up email that's going to have all the links. And one of the links that we have on our webpage that I would recommend you look into is that we have student loan preferred lender lists, job training fund opportunities, veteran education benefits. There's also AmeriCorps Education Award. So there's lots of different things on our funding page. And again, you could reach out to the student services directly through the links on the webpage, or Kathy can also help you direct you to the right person if you have any questions about that. And some of these things, as you can imagine, will take some paperwork. So we do recommend, if this is an option that you're considering, you start doing your homework and your research now. So the good news is we do have an entry point every quarter for either certificate program. Whether you do fast track at your own pace, you can start any quarter. We will help you with the course plan. But again, like I said, if you are thinking about doing this for spring quarter, you definitely would want to reach out to them as soon as possible, just to make sure you get all your paperwork in. But rest assured, if it doesn't work out on the paperwork end of just the time management piece of it, we will have an entry point our summer quarter as well. Okay, so I wanted to also mention about people who are looking into taking your academic career even further. Sorry, I lost my notes. One of my papers fell down and my dog is barking outside the door. So I got a little distracted, my apologies. But our principles of financial accounting and our principles of cost accounting classes, they fulfill the prerequisites for the UC Davis Graduate School of Management's Master of Professional Accountancy programs. So again, if you're interested in that, let Kathy know. We can give you the links because you would to contact them, but just to let you know, that is also an option. Okay, and as I mentioned, I wanted to open up for questions. So I don't know if we've gathered any yet. I don't see anybody has any yet, but since we have Jim here, Jim, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the two courses that you teach, if you can let us know a little bit about auditing. And I forgot to mention, I am a proud daughter of an auditor. Debits to the left, credits to the right. So, so if you were to talk about your two classes, that would be great.
Well, my auditing course is going to start up here in about a month, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
first part of April. So, yeah, we used to. Our program has undergone a number of changes. When I started with this continuing and professional education program, we taught all of our courses live. That was in 2011 and 12 when I started, and now we've transitioned over to all online courses. I like the online format, and we've spent a lot of time putting a lot of effort into these online classes so that students get the most out of it. My auditing class, I try to provide relevant examples of real world experiences and real world observations and things. In both classes, we use a regular college textbook printed by one of the main providers of that kind of material. So the auditing class also uses publisher has a service that we can use for additional assistance for students. And I try to use that as much as possible to provide all the help that students need in order to get through the material. As I mentioned earlier, I kind of expect that my students have already taken some of the prerequisite courses, the basic accounting courses, intermediate accounting, for example, because when you start off in an auditing or a government accounting course, if you're not familiar with the accounting lingo and some of the terminology and how accounting actually works, students get lost real fast. I've seen a lot of the deer in the headlight looks when I used to teach my classes for students who weren't ready for it. They came back later, and they did quite well, but they had to go back and get the fundamentals in order to do it. My students have always given our 2 classes pretty decent marks as far as how it relates to real world things that they see in the real world after they have completed our program and got out into their careers. Government accounting course, that's offered in the summer. And what we do in that course is I take my students through an actual financial report issued by the city of Sacramento. The reason I do that is because the government accounting course goes through all the different aspects of financial accounting that's unique to governments, and it is unique in every sense of the word. And so I walk them through, it's called a CAFR, it's a comprehensive annual financial report. And we go through there and not only learn some things about Sacramento, which for folks that are enrolled from around this area, can always learn some new things about our city. And they learn actually how to read financial reports and statements. I have had some comments later that, I was in a meeting with a finance director after I took your course. And, before that, I didn't have a clue what he was talking about. After taking this and gone through that, all that material, it was just kind of a struggle at the time, but now I understood what they were talking about. And it really helped me out in my, understanding of, what's going on at my work. So.
Great. No, I think that's really helpful. And like I said, I know students really enjoy your class. And I know your summer quarter class that you have, the accounting for government and nonprofits, that's a really interesting class as well. Do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Well, government accounting is very different than regular accounting. Structured different because there's a different purpose, and every class that you'll take in accounting has to do with, the private sector, and the private sector world is interested in making a profit. And so you start the year with 0 and you work up as you incur expenses and generate revenues. And the government accounting world, the objective is not to earn a profit, it's to provide services to citizens. And the government create a budget, so you start with numbers and you work down to 0, or hopefully not to 0, but so the whole structure is different and it's designed for a different purpose. And it's a very challenging course because of that reason. And there's different terminology, different things that we use in government accounting that you'll never see in the private sector and private sector accounting. So it's challenging, but if you're interested in working in a government or not-for-profit, the same thing, it's a good course to take because you'll understand what's going on at your workplace.
Exactly. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. It looks like we did get a question about, does any of the certificate accounting classes fulfill any of the requirements for the Master in Accounting program? So yes, I did mention that. So let me go back to that. That's not letting me go back. But yes, so for UC Davis, for their Master's in Accounting program, for the principles of financial accounting and the principles of cost accounting, those are 2 of the courses for the accounting principles certificate series. But you'll always still want to contact the graduate school just for further information on their programs, and obviously for other institutions as well. And also, if I know for some people who are maybe interested in eventually doing the CPA route and sitting for the exam, we will send you the link to the California Board of Accountancy. We really recommend that you go to their website, check out their requirements, like, Jim talked a little bit about it. And also, you might also want to investigate something like we have like a Becker Test Prep is one of those agencies that they also have some information about exam prep, because we are not an exam prep program. We're just like a certificate program. So if you're interested in learning more about Becker, you can go directly to their website, or if you actually need the website information, just let Kathy know and we can share that. I think I have a brochure that I can share with you as well. And I think I saw someone raising a hand, but I'm not sure. Okay, so All right, I have some on-the-job experience with accounting work currently, and I was thinking of taking the prereq course, Principles of Financial Accounting this spring prior to enrolling in the Accounting Specialist Fast Track. Does this sound like a plan? So yeah, so that is definitely something that a lot of students decide to do, that if you are working in the accounting field currently and just taking the prereq class first, or if you feel like you have taken that at another institution, because it sounds like you have some accounting experience, you could just let Kathy know, reach out to Kathy at the end. She'll provide her Calendly link and her contact information. And we can talk about more specific for you, but just in general, yes, that I've had students do that before where, they already have experience in the field. They feel like they're more ready for those advanced courses. That is something that you can definitely do. And like, just, take into consideration what Jim said, they are more advanced courses. So the curriculum and the instructors are going to expect you to have some level of accounting understanding and experience. Oh, you're welcome. Okay. And thank you everybody so much for your patience today with me. It was just one of those days. I know I don't know if anybody else has pets living at their house, but my cat is in my office, but my dog is very jealous. So thank you again for your patience when I was kind of lost my way there for a second. So I'll give you guys a couple more minutes to see if anybody else has any more questions. I've just shared maybe some common questions that I get. Does anybody have to have accounting experience to take the program? Not necessarily, especially for the accounting principles certificate program. You would probably have to have some almost understanding of college or college level courses. So that's why I always tell students. So you should have basic, obviously, some math skills, some computer skills, some internet skills. Again, if you have any questions about if this is the right fit for you, that's what Kathy is here for. She is going to help you with that piece of it. And let me see what else sometimes I get. I think I mentioned that we have an entry report every quarter. So sometimes people ask me like, when's the best time for me to start? It's whenever is the best time for you, whenever you have time to dedicate to the program. And again, Kathy can help you with those decisions, whether fast track will be a better option for you. Some people are like, just tell me what I need to do. I want to get it over. I like to have a plan. I'd like to know when I'm going to be finished. That's why the fast track is a great option for that. And then you get the benefit of a discount. Or if you prefer to work at your own pace, you have 5 years to complete the certificate. I do just want to add though, to get the certificate, you need to get a C or higher in every single course. So not a C minus, a C or higher. I think I might have another question that just came in. Let's see here.
Answer is yes.
Yes. Okay, Jim, already got, thank you. So someone was asking like, they have some experience doing late bookkeeping. If I decide to take the fast track course and get the principal cert, and that's get an entry level job. Yeah. So as Jim mentioned, I mean, that's, like I said, I'm not an accountant myself, but I am always willing, and Kathy, we can always reach out to instructors if you have questions about that. But yes, I mean, that would prepare you for like, Jim, you can speak to that like a financial assistant. What else could they do with the principal certificate for the entry level kind of position?
Well, with an entry level position, you basically can do most any kind of accounting work. At our work, we have people with a variety of backgrounds that come and apply at the state for accounting and auditing jobs. Our requirements as a state for entry level folks is that they have a college degree with at least 6 units of accounting. And that's good enough for an entry level job, whether it's in accounting or it's in auditing. And there was a young man that used to work for me, and he, I can relate to this question because he worked at Home Depot. He wasn't doing accounting work; he was on the floor selling merchandise. And but he had enough background to be an entry level auditor. He's been with us for 12, 14 years now, I think. So yeah, the answer is yes.
Okay, great. And I know sometimes Kathy can help you with that. I know, Kathy, if you want to join us, I know if you want to share your information, as we're still taking in some more questions, we'll leave some time for more questions. If for those of you that might need to leave, I just want to make sure that you have Kathy's information. So Kathy, if you want to share maybe the best way for people to contact you.
Yeah, sure. So you can just schedule with me through my Calendly, either by phone or by Zoom.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then Kathy, do you mind maybe putting your Calendly link in the chat box, and then maybe people can kind of paste, sometimes that's a bit easier. Thank you.
Right, I already put it into the chat.
Oh, you're already on it. Thank you. Oh my goodness, my apologies. See, everyone wants everybody to succeed. Okay, perfect. So I'll hang out for like another minute or so, see if any more questions are coming in. But I just want to thank everybody so much for joining us today. Thank you for your patience with a couple of the glitches I had with presenting this today. I want to thank Jim so much for coming out today. It's always a pleasure to see you, and we really appreciate all your input.
Hope to see some of you folks in my classes here in the next year or two. So.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, well, it looks like we don't have any other questions coming in. So again, I just want to thank everybody. Have a great day. And again, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you.